I'm seeing us on the screen and we're waiting for all the little blue signals to go green. Let's see who's going to go first. Okay, LinkedIn is first and we're waiting for Facebook and we're waiting for YouTube. We're going to wait until streaming. Come on, YouTube, you can do it. Everybody say, YouTube, you can do it. Come on, Rick, let me hear you. Barb, YouTube, you can do it. It did it. Okay, Jordan, count us backwards from 10. I don't have a fancy clock to start the show. Jordan, why don't you count us backwards from 10? Everybody's going to join in and I'll start the music. Ready? Here we,
I'm ready.
here we go. 10.
10,
Everybody.
9,
9, 8,
8,
7, 6,
5,
5,
4,
3,
3, 2,
1.
1. Jordan, put them in number 1. They were the most in sync group I have heard in months. Here we go. Come on, everybody, join me. Rick, let's see those moves.
Welcome to Read My Lips Radio, a lively hour of unscripted conversations with savvy creatives. Producer and host, akaRadioRed, asks novelists, artists, photographers, designers, comedians, actors, musicians,
Connie's
composers,
really into this.
screenwriters, directors, and technology innovators about their creative passion, inspirational muses, and how they create. Ooh, how those lips can talk. Now, here's akaRadioRed.
Thank you to the wonderful voice who introduces me. That's Ryan Treasure. Used to work with him at Voice America. I'm Radio Red. This is Monday, and this is my special little place in the world called Read My Lips. Cool conversations with creatives, where I have the pleasure to speak to a panel of really interesting people. They're usually authors, but not always. And we're going to talk about what makes our creativity tick, when we discovered that we were creative. Rick and Barb and Connie, some people say to me, oh, I didn't know I was a creative person. I said, but did you decide how you speak and how you run your business and what your life, after your parents and your teachers told you what to do, what your life was going to be like? You created that. You are a creative. So here we are. So let's see what's going on here. We have to do a shout out now. Everybody put up your finger in the shape of the letter L. We got to do this now. Rick, you decide. Okay. Oh, we got goalposts there. Okay. So on the count of 3, I want you to join me on the count of 3 and saying hello, LLL. 1, 2, 3. Hello, L. L. Jordan, my engineer, that was pretty good. You can put them up in second place for In Sync on LLL. LLL is lovely, lanky Laura Legs, our most loyal listener. She lives in Whitestone, New York, and I've been trying to get her to move to a place that starts with L for years, and I just can't get her to budge. I met her at a dance class when I was taking the class, not teaching it, and we've stayed friends over the years. But here's the thing. Connie and Barb and Rick, I'll introduce you in a second. At 6:03 p.m. Eastern Time tonight, I will receive an email from Laura, and she will tell me, Barb, a summary of what you said on the show. And she's going to tell me how great you are. Rick, going to get a summary for you too. And Connie, how could we forget you? Of course, we'll have one for Connie. And she's going to call me beautiful, gorgeous lady of red. That's the way she talks to me. It's terrible. Anyway, that's why she listens. She loves the show, and we do a shout out. I've been doing it for years. So today is, oh my goodness, it's June. How did that happen? It seems, Barb, it seemed like New Year's Eve was 3 minutes ago.
I mean, we just met you back in March, and it was like, oh my gosh, and now it's June?
At the Publicity Summit, that's right. It was so far away. So it's June 2nd. It's 153rd day of the 2025 Gregorian calendar. Used to be the Julian calendar, but Julian had a problem. He couldn't match up October through the calendar with the moon, and he left out about 12 days. So if you're like me and you had an early Libra October birthday, you wouldn't get to celebrate it. So Gregorian came along, Pope Gregory, and he said, I have a creative idea. And his mother said, that's my boy. I'm sorry, I hope I'm not upsetting anybody. He was a pope. And she said, what are you going to do? And he said, we're putting in a leap year every 4th year, 1 leap day, and we're going to catch up. And we got our October birthdays back. There were 212 days left to the year, so don't worry about that. It's the 22nd Monday, and nobody cares about that except me. So I'm going to read my opening now. And when I call your name, I want you to just wave, okay? And I can pronounce all your names. Sometimes I can't pronounce names very well, but today you're all giving me easy names. So welcome to Cool Conversations, our radiant show, where sparks of brilliance and muses glow. No pressure, kids. akaRadioRed on her Scarlett Mic's beam leads the way in our live streaming dream. Today's theme brings promise, bold and pretty, as we celebrate, somebody's going to know what this means, the unmasking of creativity. With purpose, with passion, three creatives take flight. Barb Stone, Rick Patterson, and Connie Bennett share the light. Here we go. Barb, you're up first. From Bayshore, New York roots to marathon strides and watercolor dreams, Barb guides people to purpose, igniting life's gleams. As her family's first-gen graduate at 16, she forged a path unseen. Through loss and alopecia's test, her spirit rose serene. Barb donned a mask of fear, her confidence held tight. Performance strains gave way as she sought a higher light. 2 decades steering factories, CFO and EVP roles in hand, she swapped the pursuit of profit and her mission of truth took a stand. Barb, did you like it?
Oh my gosh, I just loved it.
I'm glad. I'll tell you who helped me with it when we're done. Rick Patterson is here. At a global chemical firm, Rick Patterson charts the market's quest. As speaker, author, DEI trainer, his insights spark minds to be their best. 3 decades in corporate ranks, 10 years he answered ministry's call. He forged DEI for the white guy, so inclusion holds for all. Born a middle child with siblings bold, he left introversion behind. From engineer to a doctor of faith, Rick's varied paths entwined. He founded church, raised cattle stock, and adopted 4 with grace. Unmasking shame in his first book, now creativity takes its place. Rick?
Nice. Well done.
Good.
Bravo.
I'm glad. I'll take a bravo.
You are the creative one here, aren't
Oh
you?
dear, I have help. I'll tell you in a minute. And Connie Bennett is here. Once trapped by sugar and carbs, Connie Bennett faced her plight. As a journalist turned coach, she embraced health's guiding light. Her books, Sugar Shock, To Blue My Diet, set our cravings aglow. Mine are still glowing. She maps why snacking spirals, then shows us how to let go. Connie packed on 21 pounds in grief, then set about to explain those 21 reasons why eating helps dull distress as rain. Armed with training and insight, she steps onto wisdom's stage with science-based tips to bounce back boldly through our life at any age. Connie, what'd you think?
That's really good.
I'm glad. I'll take really good and I'll take bravo. So let me close this out now. So gather round where the cool vibes sway as we dive deep into creativity today. akaRadioRed's Roundtable lights the way. We hope to inspire you to live large, love life, and play. Okay, kids, how'd I do?
You did great.
Okay, I'm
All
glad.
around.
That's my gift to all of you is to do that. And I have a partner in crime. Her name is Sylvie, Sylvie. She's my virtual assistant. And here's what happens. The process is I take all of your bios, and there were a couple hundred words by the time I put them together in one big text block with an and in between. And I say, Sylvie, I'd like to get an 8-line, 8-stanza rhyming bio overview, not a poem, of each of my special guests. And she thinks about it for a little while, and then she comes back, usually in about 8 seconds, and gives me, actually, I sent yours individually. I didn't send them as a block. She'll come back with the 8-line stanza. Then I take it and I relate it back to the bio you sent me, and I see whether it resonates with me. Did I like the rhymes? Did we pick up the highlights of who you are? Does it make me feel good and proud to present that as my gift to you? And I'll go back to her and I'll say, line 3 and 4 of Rick's, I didn't like. You used too many light and bright and fight and sight, and we got to have. And she'll come back, and then I'll edit it, and I'll say, what do you think of this? And she'll say, oh, that was just brilliant, Red. So we go back and forth, and then I get the final say. And I'll tell you later where Sylvie lives, and I won't tell you right now, but she's French, and we speak in French. Everybody know what a bisou is in French? Bisou, B-I-S-O-U?
Yep.
No? Rick,
Yes.
you need to learn that. It's a kiss. We send each other mille bisous over the internet. It's very sweet. Okay, so I'm going to go around the table. I'm glad you like those. And I'm going to start with you, Barb Stone. It's my pleasure to welcome you officially to Read My Lips, and I'm going to put you on speaker view. Barb, fill us in. Is there anything we missed in your bio? How can you take a life and make it into 8 lines? Seriously, Red.
Oh my.
Barb, give us a little more, please, and welcome.
So one of the things, thank you, Red. One of the things that I know to be true is that I started my journey after the manufacturing, and you talked a little bit about that, was I needed to become creative. And I never really realized that I was a creative being until I started my business. And then it's like, what are you doing? You have to create. There isn't a book that says step by step. You gotta figure it out as you go. And that's when I really started becoming creative. But you know what? One of the things you stated that you've got Sylvie around you, you've got a team around you because they help you. And so when I ended up starting this business and recognized I was a creative being, I needed to bring a team around me. And that's what helped me get to being who I am. I couldn't have done it. Yes, I had the training, I had teachings, but it's, the real learning and the real creativity is when you step into it, because then you're going to find out what's really working and what's not working
There
from
you
there.
go. Barb, how did you go from the jobs in manufacturing? You sent me some details. It sounded very intense what you were doing. How did you get, just briefly, how did you get from there to where you are now?
I recognize that, I had been trying to climb ladders because, you know what, after all, isn't that what we're supposed to be doing? Graduating college and climbing ladders, making money. And I'm going like, whoa, something else is here. I became a widow, and that really kind of paused.
Yep.
I have, and I'll do this. I have alopecia, which became a mask for me. It became a mask for me when I was in manufacturing because I had to always look good and get it right. And through time, and trust me, I could not do this until 6 years ago because this stepping into this new business was not only about the creativity, but it was really about revealing who I really am. And that's what I do now with my clients. And, when I started this business, I ended up saying, oh, I'm going to be working with personal and professional development. I didn't really want to become a business coach or an executive coach and a trainer. And what ended up happening was the discovery of things that I needed to step in happened. And there's one thing I want to share to this, and I'm
Mm.
realizing I didn't put it in my bio, is that there are signs that come to you. They're
Mm-hmm.
called quantum flirts. And when you can start thinking about these quantum flirts that come to you and then start putting them together, and sometimes a quantum flirt will come to you and you're going to go like, no, that's not for me right now. But all of a sudden more comes and you start connecting the dots. And before you know it, you've really developed something and you've stepped into something. I never would have said I'm a coach, speaker, trainer, TEDx talk, now an author. No way,
Mm-hmm.
6 years ago. But it was just about connecting the dots of creativity and really understanding how can you step
Thank
into
you.
it and make difference.
Thank you, Barb. Thank you very much. We appreciate you very much. Thank you.
Welcome.
And by the way, you're very beautiful.
Thanks.
Very, very, very beautiful. The real Barb. Welcome. Welcome, the
Thanks.
real Barb. Up to you. Let me go to Rick Patterson. Rick, you want to fill in some blanks? There's the other Barb. Okay. It's
Yeah.
whoever you want to be, dear. That's just fine. And by the way, you talked about ladders, climbing ladders. I thought I had to leap tall buildings. So now I found out I just could have gone up the steps of the ladder. Well, now you tell me after all these years. Rick Patterson, welcome. I'm putting you on speaker view. Would you give us a little more about yourself, please? Go ahead, Rick.
Yeah, I'll just probably expand on one thing you already hit on, and that was the adoption of our kids, because I think that was a pivot point for me, especially the age of the kids, the nature in which they came to us, that they all came to us together, they were Black. And I realized that at that point, I was going to have to reorient some stuff in my life and for myself personally. And that came about right during the transition that I made from corporate America into ministry. It's when I was going back for my master's degree. So the one thing I would expand upon is just the degree to which that adoption, that event, was life-changing in so many different directions and sparked a lot of what I call the creative work of self.
Mm-hmm. Now that's a big thing to say, the creative work of self, Rick. That's a whole show. That's a whole topic. Question, how old were the kids when you adopted them?
Well, we started taking care of them when grandma was sick and they were in for chemo, and they were probably in the kindergarten age then.
Mm-hmm.
They came into foster care when they were maybe second grade, and then the adoption really officially took place when they were about in fourth grade. So they were in foster care for a couple of years as well with us.
And how old are they? What's the age spread now?
Oh, they're in their 30s now, 30 to
Oh
35.
my.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, they're growing up.
are
Yeah.
you a grandpa yet?
Oh, yeah, I'm a grandpa.
Okay. Welcome, Grandpa. Okay. Nice looking
That was not
Grandpa.
my bio, was it?
Oh, that's okay. I don't put it in mine either, dear, but you didn't see mine. Okay. Thank you. Welcome, Rick. Very interesting. Connie Bennett, putting you on screen now. Let's have a little more from you on your brand new show, or Mike, what you're boasting about. Go ahead, Connie. Welcome.
Well, I love the topic of your show about creativity because it really got me thinking about how when I ate badly, my creativity plummeted. So you went over what happened basically briefly, but basically I had been eating cleanly for more than a decade. I was a recognized sugar expert, author of 2 books, Sugar Shock and Beyond Sugar Shock. And after my mother had passed away, a very difficult year with her, I blew my diet. Now, up until then, I'd been very creative. Things were kind of flowing very smoothly. The minute I started eating badly, I became moody and depressed and irritable, and it was difficult to concentrate. And yes, my creativity waned. And then, but then because I ate badly, I, as you mentioned, packed on 21 pounds in a hurry, which was quite embarrassing to me since for a decade I'd been telling people how to eat better and how to let go of sugar and carbs. And oops, I was not walking my talk. And so with my new book, I Blew My Diet Now What? While I was learning why I blew my diet, I was also discovering how could I help other people. And we were talking about, the elements of creativity. And to me, one of the absolute first things you need to do to be creative is to be very, very careful about what you put into your body, what thoughts you put in, what food you put in, what activities you put in. And so for me, I have a very different kind of view, I believe, of creativity, which is that when you nourish your body and your mind and your soul with quality foods, you're going to be more creative.
Interesting. Very interesting. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, lovely to have all three of you here. And I have to do a shout out again to the National Publicity Summit where I book, I don't know if the three of you know, but I book over 100 people a year from the summit, usually 35 to 40 at each summit. And there's one next week. So I fill 4 months ahead, as you all know. And what I want my listeners and viewers to know is that I get to meet these wonderful people for exactly 2 minutes with a monitor with a stopwatch. And I am told time is up. In that time, I'm saying, Rick Patterson looks interesting. I read your one sheet and I'm, okay, Rick, introduce yourself. Talk to me. And Rick's going and I'm typing. Rick said this, Rick said that. He adopted this. He wrote this. He was in the ministry, blah, 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 blah. I'm typing. Rick, I'm not being rude. I'm typing everything. And then I'll say, Rick Patterson, would you like to be on my show? And he says, I think so. And I said, okay, June 2nd is open. Are you free? I have to check my calendar. No, Rick, I have to know right now. Rick, give me your email. Give me your phone number. And I'm typing. And the monitor says, time's up. And they take away Rick's video. And the next candidate comes up and pitches me. This goes on for 3.5 hours. And I do this 3 or 4 times a year and book over 100 people. So I wanted you all to know the truth of how you all got here. So thank you very much. Okay, let's go to the quotes. I've asked you each to send me an opening quote from a movie or a TV, fictional movie, fictional character, or a song lyric that means something to you in some way. I'm going to read the quote with a little background, and I'm going to ask you to relate it specifically to your own creativity. So Barb Stone is up first, and Barb has picked a quote from Letty Lutz, the circus bearded lady, played by Kiata Settle, the actress. The movie was The Greatest Showman, 2017. It's a biographical musical drama film. The actress is an American actress and singer born in 1975. This Is Me is a song performed by her for the film. It was released in 2017. Let me see. It was the best original song at the 75th Golden Globe Awards, nominated for the best original at the 90th Oscars, and more. The song charted in the top 5 in the UK, top 10 in Australia, Ireland, Malaysia, must mean something, Barb, South Korea, and top 20 in Belgium and New Zealand. The movie starred Hugh Jackman, Zac Efron, Be Still My Heart, Michelle Williams, Rebecca Ferguson, and Zendaya. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, here we go. It's a heavy fictionalized depiction of the life of P.T. Barnum, the showman and entertainer who created Barnum and Bailey Circus and its star attractions. Here's the line. Here's the title of the song. I already said it. This Is Me. Barb Stone, take 2 minutes. What does this have to do with you? Go ahead.
So again, I just have always hid behind what I was supposed to be. And, what I was supposed to be in manufacturing, what I was supposed to be in the community, what I was supposed to be in my family. And the reality is that there was this person that really wanted to come out and be me. So one of the things that I show this to a lot of clients. There's a YouTube video on Kiata Settle when they ended up doing the green light for The Greatest Showman. And she starts out with a quiet voice. And she's behind the music stand. And then she starts coming out. And she gets out and she's like grabbing hold of Hugh Jackman's hands. She's getting everybody excited because she's finally found her voice and able to really belt out that number. And to me, that is, whenever I watch it, I cry and I show it for clients all the time because that's what I want for them. That's what I want for people to be able to find that voice and really step it into what they need to do in their life, in their world, in being that creative being, because that's what I had to do.
Thank you. That was lovely. That was really lovely. I think at a certain point in time, we all would aspire to being able to say that, wouldn't we, Rick? And wouldn't we, Connie? And we know Barb did. And I don't know. I think I recognized it. I'm an early woman in tech, and I was a programmer analyst back in the mainframe key punching days. And I wrote my code and key punched thousands of cards and ran programs for a statewide community college system on the West Coast. And I thought all I could do was really write in code. And one day, Barb and Rick and Connie, I discovered I could speak and think and do everything in English. I was always an English native speaker, but that wasn't the point. I discovered I had this voice, and I started radio and TV, and I haven't looked back since then. But now I'm having the joy of my life is talking to interesting people like the three of you and doing this on 3 shows a week. This is me, Barb. This is it. This is all you get, kids. This is the best it's going to get. Anyway, thank you very much. Rick Patterson, I'm looking at the quote you sent. It's from John Milton / Satan, played by Al Pacino. What a great actor. The Devil's Advocate, 1997 supernatural horror film. At the end of the movie, Milton breaks the fourth wall, meaning he talks straight to the audience and declares, and here's the quote, "Vanity, definitely my favorite sin." What a wonderful quote. Starring Keanu Reeves, Al Pacino, Charlize Theron, based on a 1990 novel by Andrew Niederman. And the name John Milton is one of several allusions to Paradise Lost, of course, as well as to Dante's Inferno and the Legend of Faust. I'm going to leave it there. Vanity, still my favorite sin. Rick, what does this have to do with you? Talk to us.
Well, it's got to do with masks, ironically, like Barb was talking about, in the fact that it's our vanity. I call it shame. Shame drives vanity, but it's this root thing inside of us that forces us to don our masks. I love what Barb said, hide behind what I was supposed to be, and that word for me is shame, but it's vanity. It's got these things that force us to present something to the world that is not inherently us. And eventually, the longer we portray that, the sooner it is we're just going to break down. All right. That is not sustainable living. And for me, that's exactly what happened. Is I basically broke down right around the time we had the kids and everything, and basically came to the conclusion that my vanity, my shame, I called it narcissism at the time, was just going to destroy my entire family if I didn't do something about it. Which is when you get into the work, the creative work of self, actually understanding what it means to unmask. Unmasking is a creative endeavor, and it's a brutally creative endeavor, and you got to stick to it. So for me, I think the devil, whoever that is to you, gets a ton of mileage out of our vanity, our shame, and forcing us into being lives and being people that we really are not.
Very, very interesting. I had an interesting, the past couple weeks, I've realized I'm not sitting still and letting people be rude or nasty or hostile to me, and I'm speaking back. And I'm finding there's a power in doing it. I know, Connie, there's a power in doing it the right way. And when something upsets me, Rick, instead of just sitting there and saying, oh, I really shouldn't answer, they're just in a mood or they had a tough day, walk a mile in their shoes, I'm saying to myself, they don't have a right to talk to me like that. And it happened very quickly this morning. Somebody wrote me an unsubscribe, not just an unsubscribe from my email, the one I sent with the promo this morning, the e-blast. They didn't just say, please unsubscribe me. The email came across, you need an unsubscribe button. Please take me off your list. And I got all agitated. And Rick, I said, oh, I'm this nice person. I just host radio and TV. I'm not important. I have this mask of kindness and loveliness. And you know what I did? I wrote back and I looked up his website. He had been a guest on the show a couple of years ago, and I looked up his. Most of them are, and I only 1,100 names so far. And I looked up his email, and I shouldn't really say this. He calls himself the emotion expert. So I wrote back, dear Dr. Emotion Expert. You'll never find him. Dear Dr. Emotion Expert. I would appreciate your realizing the impact of when you make a command to somebody, not knowing the circumstance, what impact that had on that person. I said, yes, sir. We are removing you, deleting you, banishing you, prohibiting you from our list in the future. We wish you well. And I sent it. I felt so much better. I did. And do you know what? 10 minutes later, he emailed me and he said, I owe you an apology. I could have been more gracious in my request to leave your list. And I thought, okay. Rick, what do you think? Cool beans?
I think the apology is the most underrated form of communication in our world today. There's such power in an apology. There's such power in humility, in owning something that we've done. It takes a mask removal, for lack of a better word, to apologize.
It does.
So props to both of you, but really, I mean, to be able to own something you've done I had to suffer through learning that. And
I know. And I wrote back to him and I said, just so you know, my list of 1,100 names is hand curated by me only with people I value and trust and have met. And I do not have an unsubscribe button because I send out 11 copies of this with 98 emails per copy so that I don't get hit by the spam filter people at Outlook, because the violation is over 100 names means you're spamming. So I have to count 9. I have blocks of names and emails and I have to copy that email 11 times. Plus I keep one copy in my draft folder and I send it out and I make sure every name, every email is perfect. And then I send it. And I said, that's why there is no unsubscribe button, because I don't use a service for that. This is done personally by me because I care. I didn't hear back from him, but I wanted to get that off my chest and say, who do you think you're talking to? No. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. Thank you for that. Yes, Barb.
I just want to add to that. I think, sometimes people do these things and sometimes they don't recognize that there's a human on the other side.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, just where's the unsubscribe? It's like, hello, this is the way I do things. So please, before it's a judgment in there.
There is.
Recognize as a human. there.
I was in a business meeting 2 weeks ago and I was trying to add some value. Somebody was having some trouble with something technical. I thought I could help. And the other person, third person, was saying, shh, shh, and shushing me. I heard it 3 times. You know what I did? Rick, you're going to love this. I said, it's clear to me I'm not adding any value to this meeting. I'm going to bow out. I have other things to do. Thank you very much. And I dropped out. My role had been done. I was moderating something for these people, and we were done with the live show. So anyway, it was, and then I went back 10 minutes later. Do you know the person who shushed me sent me an apology email, Rick? She sent me an apology and said, I apologize, but I think the two of us need to step back and let the people who know this technology help if this happens again. But she said, I apologize if I was brash. Connie, I'm going to take your comment in a second, but I want to get to your quote because it's Connie quote time. So here we go. Connie has sent, and you can add your comment into this. Connie sent a quote from, oh, how appropriate. Stronger, What Doesn't Kill You, the song by Kelly Clarkson from 2011 from her fifth studio album, Stronger, originally titled What Doesn't Kill You, parentheses, Stronger. The song was the album's second single, written by Kelly Clarkson, Jorgen Olafsson, Ali Tamposi, and David Gamson. Blah, 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 blah. It derives from genres of dance pop and electropop, themes of empowerment and recovery following a heartbreak, with the chorus inspired by Nietzsche's quotation, that which does not kill us make us stronger. So that's the line, what doesn't kill you. Everybody want to sing? Connie, why don't you tell us how you picked this and briefly, what does this mean to you? Go ahead, Connie.
I picked it because basically a lot of people go through some kind of challenging time. I forget about a lot of people, most of us, all of us. Something happens in our lives that's unexpected, hits us out of the blue, and we may succumb to unhealthy eating or other unhealthy behavior, or we may get just completely derailed in other ways. And instead of letting it, just weigh us down, I guess, pun intended, we can rise up, we can meet the challenges, and we can become stronger than we once were. I actually talk about, I use a different word for stronger, but that's basically the message. My message now is that when we have something that happens that is really difficult, that we don't have to come out the same as we once were, but let's become better and stronger and bolder. And I call it to bounce back boldly. And so I read all about Kelly Clarkson and just things that had happened with her. And the message really resonated with me. I actually, it's one of the songs in my upcoming book, no, it's not upcoming, it's already out. I Blew My Diet, Now What? I actually have songs at the end of each of a 3-week program to help people to reboot and to bounce back to bounce back better and bolder.
Now that is creative. That is creative, blending the power of music with the power of what doesn't kill you makes you strong. Yep. Great song. Great song. Thank you, Connie. And you want to make a comment about what we just talked about? Go ahead.
Well, now I can't remember.
All right. You'll remember it later.
No, I do. Okay,
remember. Go ahead.
It had to do with haters, online haters, and what we were talking about. So I actually had subscribed to NetGalley, which is a service that you can use if you're an author, and all these people will review your book. And I believe the very, very first review, by the way, so I worked on this most recent book for 7 years, okay? I thought about it a lot. I researched it a lot. And I think it was the very first review, and it was something like, not worthwhile. It was like a 2-word review. It was dismissive. It was cold. It was brutal. It was the beginning. I had forgotten. Because this is my 3rd book, but I sort of had forgotten the power of a review. It's like, oh yeah, I need to put my armor on and not get affected by this. And so just what you had said, and what you all said, that a lot of people, when they send out emails, they just don't realize there's a human being on the other side. So these people, this woman on NetGalley, she sort of didn't realize, there's a human being who worked on this book for years. But I think that what it points to is that we all need to be really careful about when we talk via emails.
Yes.
And that
Mhm.
when we send out emails, we need to remember there's a person on the other end, and that person may be sensitive. That person may be going through a tough time. That person, may be having a rough day, whatever. That person is going through things. So let's speak kindly and gently to
Yes.
whoever we email, whether it's to
Yes.
a list. I don't know how, by the way, Red, I don't know how you can send out those emails separately. I just use Active Campaign, and
It's my pleasure. I'm looking to fill space and time, Connie. It helps take up some time, and it's part of my creative fun is creating. And by the way, the background you're looking at, this is the first time this background has been used on my show. I created about 10 different backgrounds. I use a program called Night Cafe Studio, and this was quicksand. Give me red quicksand with oversized lips and a red microphone. And then I reworked it in Photoshop, added the text, and here's my own microphone, but that's the one they gave me. And this is the first time, in honor of the three of you and Rick unmasking, I decided it was time to remask the show and give it a new look and feel. And this is the first time I've had this background. So I want you all to know that's why you might not recognize it. Wow,
It's very fun.
Thank you. I think so too. It's got a little zebra in there. It's got a little red bing in there on those lips. Oh my goodness gracious. So let's go to the part of the show. I'm looking at the clock. We're doing okay. I'm going to pick one statement or two from each of you and just take about 2 minutes because we still have a lot to cover here. Barb, I'm going to your statement number 2. I'm happy to read it for you. You say, when I make a difference with my life, I create amazing experiences in my life. So Barb says, I stepped into the land of coaching. I thought I was going to help people, but in reality, I created an experience of wonder. When you unfold what is going on for people, this is our theme. They can find amazing experiences and answers to questions. So, Barb, why don't you give us just a couple minutes and let's see if it resonates with the rest of us. Go ahead, please.
So one of the things I think that we all do when we step into this new journey, it is about really stepping into the circumstances and finding what we really need to do. And as a coach, what I do is I really hold the container for individuals to be able to really find the answers. Because if they can find the answers to themselves, they're going to really be able to uh, make it land. But one of the things that with circumstances that happen in our lives, I think that there's 3 things that can happen. You can become a victim from the circumstances. You can say, this happened to me, live in the land of to me and not really move anywhere because, oh my gosh. Or you can end up saying, this thing happened for me and really allow it to be able to create for you and you create from it. But the other one that really lands for me, and this is part of like what, I've tried to do in my life is allowing the circumstances to create wisdom through me and being able to share a wisdom, getting out there speaking, getting out there talking, getting out there training, because that's what I really want to be able to do. I want to be able to create from those circumstances so that they don't have to define me.
Thank you very much. Very, very interesting. Any comments before I move on? Because I've got something. Okay, we're good. Thank you, Barb.
Okay.
Thank you, Barb. Both Barbs, the real Barb. Thank you, Barb. Thank you for showing up. See, I pick a theme each week, and I've done this show for years. So think of all the titles. And the word unmasking just grabbed me, Rick, from what you wrote to me. And I picked it, not because I didn't love everybody else, but it was a word I'd never used before. And now here, look how we are using that word. Look at the common thread we're finding in unmasking all of us. So that's my goal in this quest for creativity, this quest not for, we all found it, this quest for understanding it, for putting our arms around it, for seeing that we all share something with each other. There is a commonality, a synchronicity. That's what I do this show. So here we go. Rick says, creativity through speaking and writing is the antidote for my own depression. It pulls me out of a world of darkness to possibly offer light for myself and possibly for others. That's the key. Rick, take a couple minutes, please. Talk to me.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I had to overcome, especially when you're sort of a results oriented person, is you have in mind that everything you do is supposed to generate some sort of action in somebody else. You're writing a book for somebody else. You're singing a song for somebody else. You're writing a poem, and all of it is in hopes of some sort of result that somebody will have a certain reaction, that they'll be better, they'll be happier, whatever it happens to be. And one of the things that I think it was Kurt Vonnegut said that really life is simply through creation. Whatever you do, create something, build a chair, write a book, write a poem, paint it, whatever it happens to be, because somehow in the pure act of creativity, it's healing, it's helping, it's for you. And eventually, I'm still learning that process. I'm still learning the degree to which my own creativity is for me, for my own well being, and letting go of the idea that the results as to how they play out in other people's lives
Yep.
is beyond me.
Rick, I just happen to have a quote about creativity from Kurt Vonnegut in my notes. I haven't read it in a long time. I'd like to read it for you. Quote, go into the arts. I'm not kidding. The arts are not a way to make a living. They're a very human way of making life more bearable. Practicing an art, no matter how well or badly, is a way to make your soul grow, for heaven's sake. Sing in the shower, dance to the radio, tell stories, write a poem to a friend, even a lousy poem. Do it as well as you possibly can. You will get an enormous reward. You will have created something. You like that, Rick?
That was the quote I was searching for. You happen to have it.
Honey, it's here. It's here. Kurt Vonnegut lived 84 years, humorist, author, satirical, and darkly 14 novels, 3 short story collections, 5 plays, 5 nonfiction written over 50 years, and more collections have been published since his death. So as soon as you said Kurt Vonnegut, that's why I keep that in my notes. I never get rid of anything. Thank you, Rick. I appreciate that. That was good. Thank you. Now, Connie, I want to go to Rick, go ahead. I'm sorry. I cut you off.
I'll just say there's a story of elementary kids writing to famous people, and the only person that actually responded to him was Kurt Vonnegut. And it was about what advice do you give us in life? And Kurt Vonnegut's response was exactly that. Whatever you do, be creative.
There you go. I belong to an online poetry group at Writer's Digest. It's a no shame, no blame, do whatever you want. And we get a theme every Wednesday from the moderator. He writes at 4 or 5, 6 in the morning. And we go on at our own pace, our own speed. There might be 30, 40, 50 poets. And we give a thumbs up, plus comments are optional to each other. And it's a community. I've been doing this for about 3 years now. And I will tell you that it's just so freeing to write. I've learned there are 125 different forms of poetry, and I favor the acrostic, the disappearing 9, the tricube, the limerick. Those are my favorites. And a tricube is 3 syllables times 3 lines. So that's 9 syllables times 3. So it's 3 by 3 by 3, 27 syllables in the whole poem. A disappearing 9 is 9 syllables on the first line, then 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. An acrostic is what the theme is. Each word, letter of the word, comes down the page, or you can reverse them, invert them, and you do something with. I'm going to read you one of my poems in a second. And limerick, I do a set of very funny limericks, and I break the fourth wall, Rick, on the last line, and I just make them very long, like setting a scene, and they're very funny, and then it rhymes with the AABBA from the beginning of the limerick. But anyway, thank you for mentioning Kurt Vonnegut. I was going to take that out of my notes last night, and I said, leave it in there, Red. You're going to need it. Rick, thank you.
That's that quantum flirt
That
just kind of came there, and it connected the dots there.
I'm looking for somebody to flirt with. Maybe it was Kurt Vonnegut. Okay. Would you believe one of the Amazon delivery people had a package for me, and I watched her go down the street. I didn't know it was for me, but I knew I was expecting something. She drove 3 houses down, made a U-turn in the cul-de-sac at the bottom, and came back and delivered it to a house across the street down the block. And I watched her. And I said to myself, I wonder if that was my package. So I texted a neighbor who was gardening right across from that house. And I said, Kathy, did you see this UPS lady? By the way, is there a gray siding with a big wrought iron turtle with an orange back on this? Because they give you a picture of where they left the package, Amazon does. And I never heard from her. And the next thing I know, my doorbell rings, and I figured it was Kathy. It was a man 3 houses down who's single who I wanted to meet. and he watched the UPS lady drop the package, and he went to her and said, "That house is empty. Are you sure you want to dig it there?" And she said, "Oh, yes." And he went and checked, and he brought me my package. Don't say a word. Don't even say a word. That's that flirt, Barb. Let's not go there anymore. Okay, I don't know who's listening. Connie Bennett, here's an interesting statement. Yeah, we got time. I have time. I need time after this for some other things, and we're gonna have fun. More fun. Connie says being creative brings joy to your life. It's a wonderful way to honor your soul, your essence, and your existence. When the muse comes calling, words come more easily, and I feel delight. The muse is a calming feeling, a presence that provides a calm certainty. I'm still thinking about this. She says, I'm a writer, and you set the stage and do the things that create fertile ground for the muse. The muse could be a fairy godmother, a goddess type, a divine entity, compassionate, benevolent, accepting female entity or male entity. Kind, compassionate, creative guides you in the right directions. There you go. I'm going to stop there. Connie, take 2 minutes and expand this, please, for us. I love this, by the way. You can tell. Go ahead.
Well, I think we all have a muse if we tune into that muse. And I think that we can invoke that muse by doing certain activities, or we can ignore the muse. I mean, we've all probably met people who said, "Hey, I'm not creative," but I contend we all can be creative. And I was talking about this with Red earlier, that I had created to help me to further my creativity, that I had created what I call the 10 commandments of creativity. And one of them actually had to do with honoring the muse. May I read these commandments?
Just as long as they're brief. Go ahead.
Okay, brief. Okay, so always honor, cherish, and respect my body, mind, and soul because it nurtures, supports, and boosts my creativity. Number 2 would be to meditate and breathe.
Mhm.
3 is to, well, for me, I do what I call emotional freedom technique. It's basically a short tapping,
EFT tapping.
research-based process
Yep.
that can boost your creativity. The other thing is very simple. Always drink two glasses of filtered water in the morning. The next thing is to always fill my body with nourishing, creativity-inducing foods that contain ample protein, wholesome carbs, and unsaturated fats. Next one is move my body in the morning, or go for a walk, or do Pilates. And next one's kind of interesting. I always keep my cell phone at a distance away from my desk, so I have to really reach over to it so that it's not going to disrupt my creative process. Another number 9 is to put words on paper by hand for a few minutes every morning. You can type, but Julie Cameron, the creativity guru, talks about that. And another way is to watch calming blue ocean waves. And if you can't get near an ocean, you can also get outdoors, watch colorful flowers, trees swaying, or listen to birds soaring, get out in nature. So those are 10 ways that.
Honey,
that
I love them. Rick, Barb, what'd you think?
Love it. Love it.
Very well done, Connie. Thank you for sharing. Those were lovely, Connie. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'd love to receive that if you could just pop them into an email. I think Barb and Rick would as well.
Absolutely.
I want to read all of you. I have a poem I wrote in July of 2024. And by the way, on this poetry group during the months of April and November, we get a PAD, a poem a day challenge with a prompt every single day for those months.
Wow.
So I write 3 to 5 to 8 poems a day for every April and every November. So I've written about 700 poems so far. But this one was, the prompt was night shift, NIGHTSHIFT. And I'm not going to share my screen, but I will tell you that I will emphasize the word with the letter. So it's NIGHT. So here we go. And this is about all of us. Never quite really at rest. It's the life of a creative. Going, gripping, gyrating, growling, groaning, growing. Highs and lows flowing on a mental Mobius strip. The days are the nights are the days again, shifting off and on, into and out of gear, hoping for unique brilliance even once. It's a calling, command, curse, roller coaster, finding eureka, euphoria amid frustration, fears. Thus is the life of the creative. What'd you
Oh
think?
my gosh.
Like
Thank you
that?
for that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I keep that in my notes because it's one of my favorites. But sometimes, and by the way, I wrote 3 romantic comedy plays, and they came to me, Connie, overnight, and I wrote them in 3 days each, and then produced them in my TV studio in Long Island with community actors. And the characters told me what to say. Talk about a muse. Once I started, they just, 1 to 4 in the morning, I was working a full-time job, 1 to 4, 3 nights in a row. And I had the first play written. I didn't even have to look back. I didn't have to say, oh, did she really mean that? I knew what they looked like. I knew what they sounded like. I knew their backgrounds. I knew everything. And I'll send you all the links to the plays there on my Vimeo. So I want to share with you, we got, 6 minutes left. Wonderful. In live streaming time, that's like a year. So I want to read to you some interesting things. Here we go. Bear with me. Today, June 2nd, events in the music industry. I don't think any of you are old enough to remember this, but in 1960, Bobby Darin played the Copacabana in New York for the first time. I went on a date at the Copa in New York once. It was really, really fun and very expensive. Ray Charles, 1962, I Can't Stop Loving You hit '1 for the first of 5 weeks. Number 79, I know this one, Donna Summer's Hot Stuff, went to #1 in the U.S. and lasted there 3 weeks. Excuse me. 84, Wham! Wake Me Up Before You Go Go. Remember that one? It hit #1 on the UK singles chart. In 1987, Whitney Houston's second album was released with 4 #1 hits. I Want to Dance with Somebody was on that album. 2001, a cover of Patti LaBelle's 1974 hit Lady Marmalade. Remember that one? The cover was Christina Aguilera, Missy Elliott, and Pink. Maya and Lil Kim hit #1, and I lasted longer on #1 than the original LaBelle. On this day in 2002, the wedding ring Paul McCartney had given to his fiancée Heather Mills, they had a fight. Guess what, Rick? They threw it out the window of a Miami hotel. It was a $25,000 ring. Guess what? The hotel staff used metal detectors, and they found it the next day. They went ahead and got married. And in 2010, the Library of Congress Gershwin Prize for Popular Song, after giving it to Paul McCartney, he sang Michelle, My Belle to First Lady Michelle Obama at a White House performance. Today is the birthday. We're remembering Marvin Hamlish, the music composer who won Pulitzer Prize for Drama for a chorus line in 1979. He won the PEGOT, Pulitzer, Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony for his music work on stage and screen. He wrote from The Sting and The Way We Work and all kinds. I have a whole bio here. It's not enough. Today is Awkwafina, the hip-hop artist and actress. Remember her from Crazy Rich Asians? She's 37. Happy birthday. Actress Morena Baccarin, who's 46. Beautiful lady. She's in Fire Country now. I don't know how she landed in that. Wayne Brady, you all know Wayne Brady, actor and singer, improv comedian. I'm a big fan of his. 53. Andy Cohen, who does the late night, and he does the New Year's Eve with Anderson Cooper. I won't make any comments. Dana Carvey is 70 today, actor, comedian, and SNL alumnus who co-starred with Mike Myers in Wayne's World. Dennis Haysbert, you may not know him as an actor, but he played the president on 24 with Kiefer Sutherland, and he does a lot of commercials for Allstate. And Marie Cheatham, you may not remember her. She's 85, but she played Marie Horton on Days of Our Lives starting in 1965. 3 birthdays you won't care about, but I do. Okay, listen up. Somebody named Scott Wozniak is 28 today. Why is he here, Rick? 1.9 million subscribers on YouTube and 758 million views. 700, I keep saying I'm in the wrong business. He's an internet comedian with video game-centric reviews, editorials, and retrospectives. And he announced on Instagram he collaborated with Monopoly to create his own limited version of the game. I don't know how. On TikTok, we have a birthday. Little Fox Hermes. He's 18. 2.9 million followers and 340,000 on Instagram. It's a girl. Videos of herself in clown makeup. Rick, unmask. There we go. She puts the mask on. And Connie, she's out in nature. She does videos of herself in nature. Okay. On Twitch, we have a gentleman named Shroud, whose real name is Mike Grzyski something. He's 31. He only has 11 million followers. He has the 3rd most watched Twitch channel of 2018. And today is National Bubba Day. If you know anybody named Bubba, happy day, not birthday. Today is I Love My Dentist Day. That's up for grabs. Today is Leave Work Early Day. I work from home. I'm always leaving work early. It's Rocky Road Day, Rotisserie Chicken Day. June is the month of Georgia blueberries, mangoes, fresh fruit and vegetables. Ooh, Barb. Ooh, I'm sorry. Ooh, Connie, Barb too. Frozen yogurt, iced tea, lemon, soul food, and it's steakhouse month, not steakhouse. In 2014, I closed this show, ladies and gentlemen, with top 10 tips for women, and I saved it, Rick, in my notes. And the number one tip was aspire to be Barbie. The biatch has everything. And that was 10 years before the movie. See, it pays to save your notes. There you go. The number 9 was when life gives you lemons, make lemonade and add vodka. Yes, I have. How many times do I have left? I got 1 minute left. Thank you, Jordan. Okay, here we go. Closing, and stick around and we'll talk afterwards. I still have to tell you about Sylvie. Here we go. Life is short. Break the rules. I think we all did. Forgive quickly. Never. Kiss slowly. Always. Love truly, and everybody laugh uncontrollably with me for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. And never regret anything that made you smile. Final words. Work like you don't need the money. Dance like no one's watching. When I taught disco in high heels on a Formica tabletop in a high school cafeteria, everybody watched. I never fell. Sing like nobody's listening. Love like you've never been hurt. We all have. Let your heart regrow, regenerate, and love again. Money talks. Chocolate sings, la. And last but not least, I stole this line from another host years ago. Thank you for turning me on. I'm going to stop. Let me see if I can find my outro music here, and we will go out with a bang here. Let me see. Read my lips close. Here we go. Okay, here we go. And it's playing and we're not hearing it. That's because I have the volume off. Hold on. Let me get this. Jordan, 1 second. Don't close us yet. Here we go. Bingo.
On Read My Lips Radio, producer and host, akaRadioRed, invites you to eavesdrop on her live, unscripted conversations with smart, savvy, creative people as she discovers what makes them tick, where they find their inspiration, when creativity first became their passion, and how their creative process can inspire the rest of us to think out of the box. Enjoy akaRadioRed's always lively, cool conversations with creatives. Oh, how those lips can talk.
Thank you very much to the wonderful voice. I'm Radio Red. Thank you to Barb Stone, Rick Patterson, Connie Bennett. Stick around. We'll talk off air. And thank you to my engineer, Jordan Henson. Jordan, are we done?